the hardest things to teach amateur golfers is the concept of the inside moving the outside, meaning the torso and the shoulders, really your core pivot, that this is what's really moving the arms and the club. I like to first think of getting this sensation without a club. Uh, we want to have as much shoulder rotation, torso rotation, both going back and going through. We want to have as little arm travel going back, and it's good to think of this going through as well. One of the drills that I used to do would be to take as big a turn as I could with my shoulders and move my arms down to where they didn't travel very far, maybe just above my right hip, and get this feeling of turning, and then the same thing going through to where I have this big rotation, but my arms don't travel very far to my finish. So it's almost like this feeling of the shoulders rotating and the arms not moving so much. It's a difficult concept for people to get because it's so intuitive to just want to take the club back with the arms and the hands and just hit the ball like this and not move from the core. So to really be able to feel this properly, especially on the backswing or even at the takeaway, you really should feel that the core is initiating even the takeaway, and you'll see that especially in some of the old timers, you see this real lagging of the club going back, and what they were doing is they're really setting themselves up to get the proper feeling right off the ball, where you feel the torso is going before the hands. So you get this feeling, and then you have that same compression closing the gap. And I have another video I talk about that. But the minimal arm travel, maximum shoulder rotation, both on the backswing and the downswing and moving through. So you feel that if you can feel that the torso is turning more than the hands, more than the arms and hands are traveling. So you want to feel that you're turning as much as you can into your finish without the arms necessarily getting up in the head. You always want to feel as if the left shoulder is always ahead of the hand, and you can feel a closing of this gap also as you move through. You never really want to release this left arm from the body unless you're trying to hit the ball with a swinger's release, which is can be very very difficult. To keep the left shoulder moving ahead of the hands, moving through, and feel a full rotation into your finish, but yet the hands really feel more here and not so much back here. I don't really like it when I see players with these big wrap-around kind of finishes because it shows a bit of a sloppy intention. Um, I mean, probably the greatest role model for this would be Ben Hogan, where you would always see that finish very structured. You see great turn in the shoulders, but you never really saw his arms flopping down like this. The ball is gone, and I understand the arguments for this. What does it matter? And all these sorts of things. But if you really want to get the proper sensation of the core turning, the core initiating both the backswing, the downswing, and all the way to the finish. So what you're doing is you're taking where the acceleration would be, and you're tightening that whole thing up so that it's happening through the strike. So with a big rotation here, minimal arm travel, closing the gap, that's really going to help get the sensation that the inside is turning the outside. Maximum rotation here, minimal feeling of arm travel, and if you can get that feeling that the left shoulder is way, way ahead then you'll end up with the proper extension, which is really a vapor trail of the acceleration moving through the shot. So when you see that Van Hogen with a beautiful extension going through, look at the left shoulder and see how far ahead that is. You never see this going on. You never see the shoulder stalling and the club flipping because the shoulder keeps moving. It keeps accelerating really from P4 to what we call PV5. Mo is a great example of this. He would finish, always his intention was with the club skyward, but really it's more the hands staying behind the shoulder and not allowing this, because if you feel this big wraparound kind of finish, then it's easy to start feeling that too early through the strike up into P4 over here. Easy to feel this happening early, and then that transfers back to the ball, and you end up with flip release and all this sorts of stuff, making it a lot harder to control the ball. So a good drill is to just feel maximum turn, minimal arm travel. And get the feeling that the torso is moving and turning a lot more than the arms. And I like to just think of moving from P1, P3 to P4, but trying to get a full turn. Even without a club, and just get the feeling that the core is doing the work and the arms aren't traveling as much. Most people are the opposite. Most people are going to just go big arms, big arm and hand, not a lot of rotation of the torso. Try and hit the ball like this with the arms, but you really want the opposite. The turn and the minimal arm travel in both directions. And if you can get into this sensation and then get that feeling a little bit hitting a golf ball when you got a club, even if you're just hitting little half shots, the difference between no turn and just using your arms and hands as compared with turn and minimal arm travel, big turn both ways. It's a great way to practice and develop this. The inside moves the outside.